I'm so proud that A Dog's Life is now sponsored and powered by Antinol. I've given green-lipped muscle to my fur family for over 15 years as part of the precautionary principle as learnt with the College of Integrated Veterinary Therapies. I switched to Antinol's Joint Care Pro a year ago, being so interested in its unique oil-based capsules, especially for Mr. Binks. He's taken greenlip muscle since I rehomed him aged 11 years ago to support his long-term joint health, as greenlip muscle is species appropriate and bioavailable. Antinol is backed by 25 years of scientific research. Each 50 milligram capsule simply contains its patented active ingredient, PSCO 524. This is extracted from greenlip muscle. This is the highly concentrated oil that's ethically extracted and contains all known omega-3s, including ETA, EPA, and DHA. Mr. Binks's stride is strong. He's active and happy. His coat is like a mirror, reflecting a healthy metabolism that's supported by this powerhouse of omega-3. So go to Antinol's website today and grab your 10% discount simply using my code AnnaWebb. Hello, I'm Anna Webb, and welcome to my podcast, A Dog's Life, that's powered by Antinol. On today's show, I'm delighted to be talking to Katrina from Katrina and the Waves, all about poodles. How excited am I to be welcoming the amazing Katrina from Katrina and the Waves onto A Dog's Life. Hey!
Hey, I'm so excited. We're doing a little preamble to make sure all of our machines are working, and it's fantastic working with you, Anna. It's like a total menagerie. There's and having to gather everybody up. I think it's a perfect backdrop, don't you? I like a little barking in the background. It's comforting.
It is comforting. No, of course it is. It's just Prue can get very persistent. So she wants to be in here with everyone. So on my left, I have Baggy on drums. That's Baggy, the feral tomcat. On my right, I have Prudence, the miniature bull terrier. And back on bass guitar, I've got Mr. Binks holding the fort on the sofa.
Well, I've met Mr. Binks. We had a pub night out, in fact, a very, very fun pub night out. And I had the great pleasure of being able to sit there and stroke the little nose all night long, which was, of course, an absolute pleasure, as was your company, of course, Anna.
Oh, thanks, Katrina. No, that was a great night when we were braving it against. Well, I think, we were allowed out at that point during the pandemic, weren't we?
Oh, do you remember? It was ridiculous. We were sitting in a booth or something, and people are going to look back on the episode and just think, what on earth did we live through? We were in a booth, and I think we were sort of wrapped in cellophane or something to keep us from no talking to. I mean, Anna, this is a time I remember doing shows and people had to leave a space of 5 people between them, and they were told they couldn't sing along.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes, they said they couldn't sing along because it would spread germs. Keep the clapping to a minimum. No, obviously, no getting up and dancing. And I thought, should we just say don't smile? Should we just say everybody just go on home and wait for it to all blow over?
Yes.
It was
or
crazy.
Tune in on Zoom. You know what I mean? Instead from your home.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what we're doing now.
Well, it is, but that's practicalities in a busy life. It was brilliant to record our first podcast in real life up at the Spaniards Inn. That was great when things had relaxed a bit more. But this is great,
yeah.
In terms of an update really on everything, but mainly, of course, Peggy Lee loves Cornwall and Peggy Lee loves London because the books are everywhere, right?
Peggy Lee Loves London was our first book, and Peggy Lee is my little miniature poodle. And that was 10 years ago. Can you believe it? It took us about 10 years to make the first book because we're just that kind of people. And when you're doing something like a road trip travelogue type of book, you keep wanting to add things. And then as it happens, you have to actually extract some things because by the time the book got printed, some of the places had already disappeared. So we thought, well, it's time for another. My one of my favorite places in this world is Cornwall. And you know, Cher, my partner, and she turned me on to Cornwall because it was a place she always went when she was small. And I mean, I couldn't believe how beautiful it was. And we both agreed next book has got to be Peggy Lee Loves Cornwall. And so out now on Katrina's web.com. If you want a signed copy, I'm happy to do that. But it's a labor of love. And the little poodle, she's an incredible trooper. I don't know if you know a lot about, I know you know a lot about dogs. And I found out the other night, in fact, you know an awful lot about hedgehogs as well, or hedgehogs, as everybody was called, hedgehogs.
Hedgehogs and yeah, well, hedge pigs, aren't they? Because they are little hoggy pigs.
Did we
Um,
ever figure out what to call the baby
yeah,
hedgehogs? I mean, that
yes,
was,
yes. Guess what? They're baby hogs.
oh, I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Not piglets,
Not
they're
piglets,
baby hogs.
baby hogs, but hoglets,
Wow.
hoglets, hoglets.
Oh, I
This
love
is,
it.
yeah, they are a hoglet. That
Oh,
is the actual definite term.
that's so
Um,
cute.
I know. No, no, but going back to toy poodles, I'm a massive fan. My aunt had six poodles. She had three miniatures and three toy poodles when I was growing up. And I used to spend all my weekends round at my Auntie Pip's
Wow.
poodle. Yeah, and she had one that was called Poppet, that was a little brown toy that missed my Auntie Pip's husband so much
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
she just stayed by the front door the whole time, pretty much. Wait,
Oh, that's tragic.
I
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
waiting for his return.
Oh, wow. I mean, with little Peggy, if Cher goes out or if I go out somewhere, she does spend the entire time looking at the door. And I've said to Sherry, God forbid one of us, we need to all die at exactly the same time for the sake of this poodle. They're little humans, they're extremely sensitive. But in that, she made a great subject because, like I said, she's a trooper, but she actually I feel like she enjoyed the work. She knew when we started saying chicken, which is how we get her to look into the camera, that she knew probably there isn't chicken coming behind this shoot, but she was very, very happy to contribute. So I think they love to work, but they love to play more. They tried to use them in wartime as war dogs to go and sniff out and seek and discover. And they were useless because they just wanted to play. They would find a grenade and they'd start tapping it around to play with it. So their nature. They're fun and playful, but that's what makes them perfect for a book, in fact, Anna.
Oh, absolutely. I've got the book in front of me at the moment. I'm lucky to have a copy, and she's gorgeous. That's all I want to say. I mean, so perfectly groomed, and I admire you for that because I think if you have a poodle, then you've got to keep them sharply groomed because they look stunning.
Yeah,
Um,
if it's not one thing, it's another. If it's not eyes, ears, teeth, the coat, and then, some other issue, as you know, and because they're a dog who they don't shed, which is great if you're somebody like me who likes to wear black the whole time. But, I mean, once you've had them groomed, you're covered in the wool, you're covered in the fluff. But, I mean, they're worth it. And what's kind of fun is that we give our dog to the groomer and we sort of get a new dog back. And I think she kind of knows she looks pretty snazzy because she kind of has got a bit of an expression like, well, yeah, look at me, especially if they give the ridiculous little pink bow
oh,
on top of the head, which immediately comes off because she ain't a pink bow kind of a dog.
no, 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 perish the thought on that one. But in the book, you can just see she is enjoying having her photograph taken. And that's brilliant. And she's been everywhere in Cornwall from how do you say that? Is it the Minack Theatre?
Yes.
Yeah, which is really famous, isn't it? It's like an amphitheater sort of carved into the rocks.
I know, but unfortunately, Anna, if you're asking me for the true pronunciation of these places, like the Givor Tin Mine or Menental, or the Gernard's Head, I'm likely to get it very, very wrong. But you and me can kind of just sort of work it out together how it's supposed to be. But I'm sure everybody who knows Cornwall or from Cornwall is laughing at us right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, the places we love the cafes, we love the pubs, we love the beaches, some touristy stuff. You mentioned the theater, which Peggy wasn't allowed to go into, but that's okay. We stood on the edge and longingly looked down at the incredible thing that is the Minack Theater, and that's in Porthcurno. We went from Land's End to St. Just, Sennin Cove, Bodmin Moor. I even wrote an album called Blissland, which of course I say Blissland, where in the book there's a Blissland Inn, which is in Blissland, and I just thought, oh, that's great. It's spelled with one S, and I just thought that's the greatest name. I'm going to name my next album that. So as you can see, I went all in on Cornwall and just went crazy on it. But I mean, have you been yourself? Have you had the opportunity to get over there?
To get over there, I have been to Cornwall actually, and I spent quite a bit of time in St. Ives, and
Oh yeah.
I remember going to the Tate Modern there because,
Oh
well,
yeah.
they've got a Tate, haven't they, down there?
They have it, and the Barbara Hepworth Museum, which is absolutely brilliant to walk around the grounds and to see where her studio was, where she worked. You can
Mm,
see where the fire was, and there are a lot of her sculptures in the sculpture garden. And it's just amazing. It's so magical. There's something about the light, something about the magical mysteriousness of it, and almost
mm,
mythological magic of it. And it's almost like the second you cross over into Cornwall and you see that sign, things do become magical, and the light becomes incredible. And that's why so many artists were attracted to the area. I mean, albeit a long drive from
yeah,
London,
it is
but
a long drive, but worth it. But don't
yeah.
they have their own language, Katrina, or something
Well,
down there?
sure. They've got their own Cornish Celtic language. They've got their own flag. They're sort of like, it's very crudely, Anna, they're sort of like the Texas of the UK, in that the Texas has always wanted to be its own country, have its own flag, its own jurisdiction, its own government, and very much a standalone state. And I feel the Cornish people have a similar feeling that they would love their independence and to really do their own thing. And that's kind of the fun of it. But it's
Mm,
also what makes it an incredibly suitable dog friendly county, because they wouldn't dream of saying dogs aren't allowed in this pub, in this cafe, in this restaurant. And on a few exceptions, on the beach, on the whole, dogs are allowed on the beaches on the whole. If it's a small beach that has a lot of children and a lot of families, they might be a little bit more careful about, you just keep your dog on the lead. But I think that's quite a good idea anyway. You need to keep tabs on them, because you know how much they love to do their business in that sand.
oh,
It's just
so.
it's just like a huge litter box for them. So yeah, you got to keep an eye on them
Well, you've got to be a responsible dog owner.
always.
Always, you have to, wherever you go with your dog, whether it's the beach or the bus or, well, the park, there's always someone not far away that might be allergic, might be afraid, might have had a bad experience. So, we've all got to rub along, and that's the key. I think that's one of the key points of responsible dog ownership. Don't you agree?
Yeah, but the thing is, for us, it's the preservation of our little poodle as well, because she is tiny and she's very, very white. And some dogs might mistake her for a rabbit or something edible or something chaseable, because obviously they can't help it. It's in their nature. And so you have to be very careful when you go to parks. Like I live near Regent's Park and Primrose Hill, and you just got to keep an eye out to see what dog is taking a little bit too much interest in your dog. And I would love to be tutored on what to do if I see a dog charging toward my dog, because this has happened to me before, and I ended up picking her up, stuffing her into my coat, and then taking a few bites on my sleeve. Thank God I had a really thick jacket on. But what's going to stop them? Well, I'll tell you what's going to stop them: a lead. And if they're the kind of dog that is going to chase another dog, they really should be on the lead. But I suppose I wasn't in one of the one of the nicer parks in London where people are responsible. So you just have to be aware.
You do have to be aware. I mean, I've had a few sticky situations happen, of course, and like my little Mr. Binks, as you've met him. He's tiny too, and
Yes.
he's old, and he's only got one hip actually. And so,
Oh,
oh no, it was removed before I rehomed him. You see, he's got a condition, a very long name for such a small dog, his condition, but he's great. He's nearly 14 now, and
wow, that's incredible.
yeah, you can do a lot, to keep dogs going, through the good diet and choice supplements and the lifestyle and all the rest of it. But yeah, no, I hear you on this. You've got to have a recall on your dog. And that's just what I was saying. You can't let your dog be a nuisance. And as I always say, you'd never let your toddler run up to a complete stranger, would you? And hang out. No.
Exactly.
So it's about the recall in, because you have to be the center of the world for your dog, not other people and not
Yeah.
other
You just
people's
see
dogs.
you just
No.
see so many times on incidents where people are calling their dog back, or you see these horrendous TikToks and a big dog has got a smaller dog in its jaw, in its grips, and wow, I mean, what do you do? And it's kind of relentless. It's very, very scary. So,
Mm.
especially in a big city, you you know what, Anna, actually anywhere, yeah, just be responsible and keep a lookout. I've been known to reel in my poodle and practically lift her up by her neck on the lead just to get her out of harm's way. It sounds very dramatic, but it's that she's got quite a strong neck, and it was a very short amount of time where that happened. But it's just scary. And your
I
instinct
agree.
right away is just get them up, just
Oh
get them
no,
out of harm's
but
way.
it's also people don't have common sense. I mean, I
I
was at
know.
a little fun dog show. It was very civilized, actually, down in Greenwich, of all places. It was lovely. And then suddenly I'm chatting to some people with Mr. Binks. He was there. And suddenly there's this guy with this very young, big, boisterous golden retriever, the golden retriever pulling this chap along, like, and he's saying, I'm sorry. And I'm thinking, what is going on? And he goes, oh,
Wow.
my dog just has to say hello to your dog. Now, you see, hang on a minute. It's like totally, I can't bear seeing that, because the dog's out of control, basically. He's pulling his owner along. Very big, bouncy golden retriever, sure, known to be quite a soft mouthed dog. But, Mr. Binks is 14 and 9 inches high. This is a young, boisterous dog with very big feet, very strong, heavy dog that, I don't want him. I mean, Mr. Binks can't even reach his bottom to do a mutual bottom sniff. So it's like, hang on. And so I said, look, I'm awfully sorry. And I explained very nicely that there was a bit of a size differential going on with the dogs and a bit of an age differential. And I was actually having a nice chat with a friend. And please, could we do this another time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because it's not up to his dog to decide to do that in the first place. Are you with me? I mean, if the
No, I
owner
mean, if
had been
this,
leading the dog, but the dog was leading the owner and had targeted Mr. Binks. So I wasn't happy about it. It's 1 foot on Mr. Binks's back could have broken it, to be
yeah,
honest.
exactly. I mean, if
You know?
Mr. Binks was a human, he'd be on a walker and, be infirm and be bent over. And would you any more allow a dog to jump up on in that situation? It is kind of a thing where people say, "Oh, can my dog just say hello?" I'm afraid our little poodle, she thinks she's a human being and she doesn't have time for any other dogs. She'll kind of endure them if she has to, like if we're in the pub and our two dogs are there, but don't expect Mr. Binks to get much of a look in. But when people say, can my dog just say hello? And then when you say, I never know what to say because I don't want to be really mean, but I usually just say, well, she's not great with other dogs. But sometimes you have to be really firm, especially when people come over and they have a child with them. Can my child just say hello? Well, Peggy would never, has never, will never bite anyone. But I know she's not really enjoying having a clammy little hand
Exactly.
pull her ears.
You know, your dog is not there to entertain everybody. You
Yes.
know, that's the thing. No, I hear you, Katrina. I so do. I mean, gosh. But you know, you did this amazing single, didn't you, with the poodle driving a car, which I absolutely loved.
Oh,
So she is totally multi-talented and
well,
far more interested in doing brave adventures behind the wheel than talking to toddlers.
oh, well, I didn't even, I wasn't quite sure which video you were talking about, Anna, because I've used her in all of them practically. Because I always think, why look at me when you can look at a cute little poodle? So we did this song, it's called Drive. And it's on YouTube if your listeners are interested. And I got this huge poodle mask, and we got in the car and we made it look like the poodle was driving. It looks pretty genuine because she loves the car, and she actually loves that position where she's sitting on our lap and she's got her paws on the steering wheel. So I mean, it looked pretty good. We drove around Regent's Park at about 15 miles per hour, and yeah, the song was called Drive. She was also in a very much a tribute in a Petula Clark song I covered called I Couldn't Live Without Your Love, which is such an amazing song. And I just loved it so much. And I thought, oh, let's make it about the poodle. And I know it's corny, but I kind of think what the world needs now is just a bit of corn and a bit of love and a little bit of like silliness and positivity. So, I really don't mind, because you could take the sentiment of I couldn't live without your love and have a smoochy, boring old video. Oh, what's that? Let's see a poodle.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can't beat a poodle. And I love that
Yeah.
video, that drive. I love that single. It's
Oh, thank
so
you.
catchy. So yeah, I love that.
I just wanna drive, master of fate, feeling alive, yeah. You can't get anywhere.
So that is a great tune. So what's next, really, Katrina? You know, I mean, is there going to be another book? I mean, might the poodle go to Scotland or somewhere?
The poodle might go to Scotland, but I'm not sure the poodle's owners are up to another one. I mean, and it takes every time we write a book, it takes us 10 years. I'm not sure I've got another 10 years in me. I
Oh,
carry
stop
on.
that.
I mean, I'm going to Oslo today for a show. Next week, I'm in Poland. So,
Norway, amazing. I've never
yeah.
been to Norway and I
Well,
love
you're half
it.
Swedish.
I am, I know, and I've done Denmark, done Sweden, but I've never been to Norway.
It is Anna. It is gorgeous.
I know, I bet.
You want to head north. You want to go to the Sami country where they've got the reindeer, and it's incredibly beautiful. There aren't that many people there. They've got loads of money since they discovered a huge amount of oil in the North Sea in the 70s. So now they've become I think they think they're quite cosmopolitan, but beneath it, they're sort of basic cavemen, the Norwegians still, and they love to sit in a circle. If you've got a fire, that's perfect for the middle of it, and not really say anything. They love to look at the stars, and they're kind of cavemen, very very in tune, in touch with nature, and I love them about them. Yeah, I'm doing a festival with Susie Quattro, so I don't know these American women who come and live in the UK and then never stop. What are we going to do with them, Anna?
I think, it's brilliant. I love Susie Quattro. And like,
Me too.
obviously I do the dog slot with Joe Good on well, it's BBC England now.
Wow.
Yeah, not just BBC London. We're well, we are global, really. I'm joking. But I remember being in the building when Joe interviewed Susie Quattro, actually, and I was so excited. So I sat with the producer, and that was brilliant because Devonmere Drive, I mean, that was, my era, Top of the Pops, and those leather trousers. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Susie is she had a very, very definite image, but she very much influenced Joan Jett and a lot of rockers that came after her, predominantly Joan Jett, but Susie's full of beans. She's always up to something, but great fun to watch and still amazing. I think she's 75 and she's still incredible.
Wow, wow. And of course, so, Joan Jett, because that all takes us back, of course, to Blondie and the fact that you did record one of your albums in New York, close to where, it all happened with Blondie, right? I think.
That's right. And I wanted to get that New York vibe. I wanted to get the Lower East Side vibe. So I worked with a guy called Jimmy Bones. And you've got to say, well, of course his name was Jimmy Bones, a Lower East Side cat. He's just very, very cool. And he had played and worked with Debbie Harry and with Blondie for a long time. So I thought, okay, this guy's going to have it. In fact, he's the one I did Drive with, the video that hopefully Mike can get up. But yeah, I wanted that vibe. In fact, I I thought I didn't know if I was going to be doing any more recording, but I just couldn't resist. So I'm going back to New York, hopefully not in the dead of winter, and I'll be working with Jimmy Bones again in the Lower East Side. And I just get very excited about it because there's something incredibly comforting and nostalgic about going back to an era where, like for me, the 70s and the 80s, where you just had a really good time. It was pre-phones. Everybody was really relaxed and cool. I know there was stuff going on in the world, Vietnam War and et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, for me, it was just a really cool and fun time. And my life has not been enriched by social media. I think it makes you withdrawn and it makes you less liable to want to go out and socialize. And I mean, on that note, come on, Anna, let's go out and get a beer sometime with our dogs. We gotta keep going out and having beers with our dogs. It's the only thing to do, and talk about the past. How about that?
Yeah, no, I'm totally up for it. I mean, look,
Love it.
I'd love that because I agree with you with social media, and yeah, let's not get too heavy about it all. But I also believe that, a dog is for life and not just for Instagram. And yeah, all of that. So yes, yes. I mean, look, while it's summer, so when you're back from your next tour, and everything, let's sort it out before winter strikes.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we could meet at the lovely Spaniards or I mean, there's so many places that are incredibly dog friendly, and the Spaniards is always really good fun. And if anybody doesn't know about the Spaniards, it is haunted, but it's absolutely amazing. It's near Kenwood House,
Yes.
in Hampstead. Yeah, it's great.
It's great. And they used to have that dog wash in the car park, which is no longer. I don't know
Oh,
what
I
it is.
know. That
Do you
was so
remember?
handy.
Yeah, yeah, particularly for a white poodle, after a little walk around the Kenwood area and stuff.
Well, for
Yeah,
sure. We need some recommendations from your viewers and listeners for
yeah.
another great place to take our dogs, a great dog friendly pub, because hopefully around London, because I live in London and I don't want to go too far.
Well,
Just
guess
for the
what?
poodle's sake. What?
Well, Marylebone is becoming more and more and more dog friendly.
Oh,
And,
good. I'll meet you
I,
there.
I love that. And yeah, so there is a hotel that is setting up. What are they calling it? Calling it a pour a la carte. So anyway, it's
Or
going
the
to have.
dog's dinner.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So just like a brasserie menu, so quite French. So there might just be, some delicious sausages.
Oh, how
Um,
fun. Are you
yeah.
allowed to say where or what? Or maybe you
Yes, well,
can
the
post it.
Marylebone Hotel. Let's say it. Let's give them a
Oh,
plug.
cool. Okay.
So, and they've got this super brasserie, and they were just saying, so many people come in here and just sit and have a coffee with their dogs. And I'm going, well, that's
Oh,
brilliant. So, let's offer them an offering. Hopefully that's going to be happening. So when it is, let's go and maximize that.
can't wait. That'd be
Okay,
fantastic.
fantastic. Well, look, have a brilliant time in Oslo. And
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so
yeah.
much for the chat. See, we could just talk forever.
No, I know. And please say hello to the poodle.
Of
And
course I will. And to Cher. Shall I say
yeah,
hello to Cher as well? Or
yes,
just the
definitely.
poodle?
No, Cher as well. I mean, I love Cher. I just remember we won't go to it now, but how Cher was crossing me and she said, Anna, you really were stupid about that one thing. You know what that one thing is when I didn't recognize Johnny Depp. And which is really awful, isn't it?
Oh, that was so funny. Oh, that's a hoot.
I
And
know.
thanks to Mike as well, your engineer, producer, whatever he is. But
No, Mike's brilliant. And Mike
yeah,
should join us for a drink as well. So
would love it. Bring his dog.
yeah, Billy the terrier. Oh, thank you so much, Katrina.
My pleasure. Loads of love.
Loads of
Take care,
love. Bye
Anna.
now. Bye
Bye
bye.
now. Bye.
that's our show. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, go on, rate and review the show wherever you tune into your podcasts. Thanks again, of course, to Katrina for joining us today. And you can get your copy of Peggy Lee Loves Cornwall and Peggy Lee Loves London from Katrina's website, which is katrinasweb.com. That's katrinasweb with 1b.com. And if you'd like to try Antinol, the Green Lip Muscle Supplement, why don't you use my code AnnaWebb for a bit of a discount? And if you haven't already, go on, subscribe, because that way you'll never miss another show. Bye for now.